Your kit arrives in 9 boxes. The heaviest box is 60 pounds, and the total shipping weight is 364 pounds. You won't need a forklift to accept delivery, and since MMS typically ships using UPS ground, that means your order can be easily delivered to a business or residence. Now, here's an overview of the way our team carefully prepares your SPower shipment. Keep in mind, generous packaging materials are used to keep your equipment safe in transit, but for the purposes of this unboxing, the foam packaging isn't necessary. Let's start with the rolling base unit for the Milwaukee pack out, then work our way up. You have the 15-foot welding whip and a 25-foot extension cord with a twist lock plug. There's an extension cord 3-prong adapter and a 3-prong to 4-prong adapter for 220 output. We packaged 2 measuring devices here. One is a set of bore calipers which measures in metric. The other is a digital depth gauge which is both metric and American. You position the depth gauge on the bar, then use it to measure and adjust the height of the carbide. The SPower control unit and control unit cables are also inside the base unit. Let's go to the flat box where you'll quickly recognize the handle for the Milwaukee pack because we've added yellow strips of tape to it. That tape makes attaching the handle to the rolling base much easier. Just insert the handle into the base until the bottom of the tape meets the top of the box and the holes for the screws will be properly aligned. This tray fits in this base box above this control unit. Here's the weld head, and if you need one, the adapter that fits your welder from the European whip. Your remotes are also in this box, and they come already paired with your control unit. Here's a tip. If you put your control unit cabling in the bottom of the pack, then set your control unit on top of the cables. It gives you enough room for the trays to fit nicely. We recommend you stack the servo drive directly on top of the rolling base. Alone it weighs 60 pounds, which is why we ship it in its own separate box identified with the 220 sticker. We also conveniently pack the reducer sleeve for the 40mm weld bar with the servo drive. You'll eventually store the servo drive in this pack, but when you open it for the first time you'll find the feed screw assembly, a 2-piece 50mm boring bar, and 3 pieces of the weld bar. Moving on to the pack that stacks on top of your servo drive and feed assembly. Underneath 2 small trays, there's a set of large centering cones and the smaller set of centering cones. There are reducer bushings for the 40mm weld bar. You also have the cone centering tool with a spanner wrench and the modular block, which is for bore diameters up to 300mm. You've got an anti-vibration bracket assembly with this plate. Weld the plate to your work. Attach the anti-vibration bracket to it and reduce or eliminate chatter during your line boring. One of the smaller but heavier boxes contains the bearing support brackets and bearing assemblies. You get 2 bearings, 6 steel offset brackets, 6 cast aluminum offset brackets, 6 longer bolts for bigger offsets, and 6 shorter bolts. The next box contains the pack that will finish off the top of your Milwaukee unit. There are compartments for some things we've already unboxed, such as the cap screws, standoff brackets, bolts for the bearing support, and the hand remotes. Then, what's left to check out are the 10 included nozzles and the contact tip extenders. There's an Allen wrench to fit every Allen bolt on the SPower unit. We also include premium inserts with a convenient QR code on the back for easy scanning and reordering. There's also a complete set of left, right, and neutral tool holders. And if you can't use the centering cones on a job, don't worry. You get 2 centering assemblies with 3-way adjustment. Several other small bags contain assorted sizes of set screws, hex nuts, and hex bolts. Finally, the 5-foot 3-inch boring bar is in the plywood box. Aluminum sheet metal on each end protects it during shipping, and remember, we didn't show it, but substantial packing materials are used to protect what's in all of the boxes during shipping. If you choose the Milwaukee Pack Out toolboxes, all stacked together they measure 47 inches tall. 22 inches wide, and their depth is 19 inches from the front face to the back of the wheels. They fit everything except the boring bar and the 800mm weld bar. Similarly, if you order the Flex Stack packs, they essentially take up the same amount of space, however their overall height is 8 inches shorter than the Milwaukee cases. Are you ready to order? Just ask an MMS team member to help get your shipment started.